would know that it's Joe's very first meeting of the new Rotary year. So sit back, strap yourselves in, and get ready for some interesting facts about Joe.
Very interesting.
Oh, you see, you came out. You missed the knot. You came out with very interesting.
Not very interesting.
Absolutely. So Joe has very cleverly put together some photos and divided her life up into, what's it called, decades. So we're going to start with slide 1, which is the 1960s. And I'm going to ask Joe, tell us what your family background is.
So I wasn't born in the 1960s. But
that was a dig.
But that's when my family began. So my mum came from Scotland in the 60s. She was a 10-pound pom, but she wasn't a pom, of course. You would never call her that. But she came on a boat, took 3 months to come to Australia, and she worked in the Adelaide City Council. And the story is that she was the only person she worked in the rates department, and she was the only person that would deal with Mr. Pilates because he smelt. And she had no sense of smell. So whenever he walked through the door, they would send Mum up to the front to deal with him.
Let's assume it was garlic, Joe, shall we?
We think it was garlic, yes. So she loves telling that story. And then she met my father, who was from Kadina, through a blind date. Wow. So his uncle and her landlord set them up, and 6 months later they were married. So they were very much in love, and till the day my father died, very much in love. And one more thing, the first of the children was born in the 60s. That was my older sister, Pauline.
You always like to remind everybody of that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes. So should we move on to the 70s, Joe? Flares and big hair. So tell us about your childhood.
So I was born in Millerton in 1973. So if you do the math, I'm something age. I stayed there till I was 4, and my dad worked for the Highways Department. So we lived in a house right next door to the Highways Department. So he just had to climb over the fence and he was at work. So that was very handy. And my other sister, she was born just before me, so in 1971. So there's 3 girls. And very loved 3 girls by my parents. So at the age of 4, we moved to Port Lincoln, and that's where I spent all of my childhood from kindergarten to year 12. And my dad continued with the Highways Department there.
Rightio. Moving right along to the 1980s. So what did the 80s look like for you, Joe?
The 80s was the best decade of all decades ever. I loved the 80s so much. It was very daggy, the crazy hairstyles and the pop music. But growing up in Port Lincoln with the beach just, a stone throw away, we spent, as you can see that top photo with my friends and I, we spent a lot of time down on the beach. And I went to a little primary school called Lincoln South, which wasn't in the best part of Port Lincoln, but all I have is great memories of scrub across the road, going off to play in the scrub, and you come home when you're hungry. And having, everybody on the street as your friends, you just wander into anybody's house and they'll feed you and you can play with the kids and whatever. It was a really great childhood. High school, Port Lincoln High School, so there was 2 high schools in Port Lincoln. I went to the public one, but all I remember of the 80s was just how much fun it was.
So don't move on yet. I've got a couple of ad hoc questions for you. What did you excel in at high school?
Oh,
well, were you there for just the fun?
Mainly just the fun, but no, drama was probably my favourite subject, so that's something that I guess I excelled in, maybe. I did get good grades in drama, And that's why I guess I'm okay with public speaking as well. That kind of helped, because as a small child, I would have been hiding behind my mum's skirt. I was extremely quiet little child.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so we're now, of course, chronologically speaking, heading into the 90s. What were your milestones from the 90s?
So I moved to Adelaide in the 90s, 1991, and that top picture, you might recognise it as a building in North Adelaide. So that was the Lutheran Seminary College. So I lived there for the first year, and I came over to become a drama teacher. Went to university for 1 year and thought, no, this isn't for me. Plus, they didn't. Drama was not one of the subjects available that year, so I'm like, what am I doing? So I left that, and then after a few small little jobs here and there, and after a first marriage, I became a chef. Now that photo there, don't I look beautiful? That is not really me. That is not really me. Well, it's sort of. That's ChatGDP did that for me, because I don't have a picture of myself in a chef outfit. So I kind of, so that's not me. And then the little one next to me is Jesse. So he was my little boy, 1998. So he just squeezed into the 90s. So he was born, and my one and only biological child.
And Jesse is an absolute credit to you and to Greg. He's a very, very wonderful young man. So he grew from a little boy into a lovely young man.
Yeah, and he's just moved out. That made me sad.
It's funny, Joe kept on saying, for the last, couple of months, I wish he'd just hurry up and move out. But now he has. It's a very different story.
Very different. We're calling Jesse every night, and he's not responding, which is sad.
But he's not far away. Okay. In the lead up to New Year's Eve 1999, many people were predicting the end of the world as we knew it, courtesy of the supposed millennium bug. I was telling Joe yesterday, I used to work with a guy who was in IT, and he actually spent New Year's Eve that year sleeping on the office floor because everyone was so terrified that, everything was going to crash around us, and of course it didn't. But for you, what did the decade bring?
Well, I was partying on that night and didn't even flinch when it changed over. But in the 2000s, I got divorced, but also I met the love of my life, Greg Carnegie, just over here. So I spent 4 years single between my divorce and when I met Greg. And although they were great years with just Jesse and I, when I met Greg, our family expanded. So with him, he brought two beautiful little girls, Lucy and Michelle. So we had a lovely, lovely time with those girls, and with Jesse, they just loved running around together. And you can see the bottom, that's our wedding day. So with the kids. So that was an amazing day, just in our backyard. Everybody brought their kids, we had a barbecue, it was just relaxing and wonderful, and we spent a lot of great times with us as a family. But we also had the benefit of what I call your breeding partner and life partner experiment. So Greg and I never had children together. So we had every second weekend by ourselves and every second school holidays by ourselves. So we really got to know each other, and we had the best of both worlds. So we had all the fun time with the kids, but also we had some amazing time, just the two of us as well. So very, very fortunate. So if you found your breeding partner who is also your life partner, then I'm sorry you miss out on that benefit. But we really love that.
Excellent, and I'm so glad to see that you had some wedding photos to choose from, and you didn't have to get AI to create wedding photos for you. That's good. That's good to see. Okay, I always have trouble, with what do you call the 2010s? It always sounds so very cumbersome and clumsy. So I'm going to call it the twenteens. Do you like that? I invented that word, the twenteens.
I like it.
So how did life change for you, Joe, in the twenteens?
So that was the beginning of Nation. So in between becoming a chef, I did a little bit of retail, but I just wasn't very settled. And when I met Greg, I loved his industry and the advertising industry. And in 2012, Greg and his partner, Jeff, left Clemenger, which was the biggest agency in Adelaide, and started Nation. And I came along thinking I'll just help them out with the bookwork because they didn't know how to send an invoice. They knew how to do the work, but they had no idea how to get the money in. So I just said, look, I'll just step in, help you with a few invoices, and then you'll get a bookkeeper and I will move out. Well, I just retired yesterday. So I stayed the whole time and I loved every minute of it. But leading up to being president, I thought, I don't want to split my time between the two. I wasn't doing a lot at Nation. I thought they can cope without me, so I retired yesterday. But the 2010s, I also started Rotary. So thank you to, where is he? Ollie invited Greg and Jeff to a new members meeting and they decided what a great idea, we'll join Rotary. So we did a corporate membership and there was 4 memberships within that corporate membership. So I decided to take one of the memberships and a few of you might remember Meg Honor, she took the other one. In the beginning, I would come into Rotary and I would be very shy and I'd wait for either come with Greg or if I was coming by myself, I'd wait for Belinda Chapman to arrive before I walked in the door. You lot were very intimidating. I was so scared of all of you. But when I started to find my people, then I was more confident and we started the Commie Night in the night just in the 2018. So that just squeezed in as well. And then, of course, Jill came into club as well, so more people for me to cling on to.
So this is another question on notice because I'd like to acknowledge the incredible support that Nation gives to Rotary Adelaide. But I was wondering this morning, where did the name Nation come from? Can you answer that or should we ask Greg?
You can ask Greg, but we went through hundreds of names. It is the hardest thing to name a business. But in the end, Greg and Jeff chose Nation because they wanted it to be a place, a destination, not something with their names on the door. They wanted the citizens, to feel like it was their place. So we call our staff citizens of Nation. So that's why, and then it can go on after them as well. And sadly, it had to go on after Jeff. A few of you would remember Jeff. He passed away. So it was up to us to continue Wonderful Nation, and now we've got some lovely partners that will take on Nation after we both leave as well.
And you obviously taught them how to send invoices and that sort of stuff and
Yes.
worked yourself out of a job, basically.
I did, yeah.
Well done. Good strategy. Now, some of you might be familiar with the concepts of 2 truths and a lie. We thought just for a bit of fun, we'd throw that one in. No, sorry.
First.
Sorry?
2020's first. Or was that going to be after? Oh.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
or do you want to do the 2020s? Right, okay. So I'll let you, and I will confess I don't know which of these is not true. Actually, yes, I do, but that's okay. I'm not going to sway anybody and I'll let you read them out.
Okay.
And then what you have to do is you have to let us know which one you think is the lie.
So I wrote a book for fussy eaters. That's one. I wanted to be an actor when I grew up and I love bike riding.
So people are saying that number 3 is the lie. Anyone else got any advance on number 3?
I think I didn't include bike riding in my thing. It was running, not only running, hiking and walking. I'm going to bike ride with her, even if she's not a bike rider.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. There's a challenge. Everyone seems to have settled on you love bike riding as being the lie.
I don't like bike riding because I can't ride a bike. I never learnt to ride a bike. I think after my dad teaching 2 other girls and me being a very nervous child, I think he gave up on me. I blame my dad.
We might have to start you on an exercise bike, maybe.
I can do an exercise bike.
There you go. You can ride a bike then. Okay, let's move on to the 2020s, because this is when your Rotary journey really began, and I'm really sure that everyone is intrigued to hear more.
Just before all of that, I'll just say a couple of things. Losing my dad in the 2020s was a big milestone. That was 5 years ago now, so it was a big part of my shaping me as a person. So he's, besides the being in the highways, he then transferred into being a parish worker at the Lutheran Church. So he was always giving back to the community. He was always volunteering. He was an amazing person in Port Lincoln. So even though I didn't know anything about Rotary, I knew that I wanted to do something in the community because I had two amazing, my dad and my mother, two great role models to show me what the right thing to do in your community. Don't just sit back and let other people do things. They were always the first person to put their hand up to do things. And also I had a milestone birthday, my 50th in the 20s. But I guess for Rotary, it was probably the time where I really found my stride. So I went on the board in early 20s and haven't looked back. So if you were there last week, it was Rajiv again who got me onto the board. He's thought that I could do communications, which I did. I took on that for 2.5 years. And then became Vice President of Administration and then President-elect. So the 20s was really my Rotary journey with the board, but also with Nurture Kits and the comedy night, and basically putting my hand up for everything and anything and helping out where I was needed. So, yeah, really enjoyed that next stage of my Rotary.
Excellent, and you have been most definitely an incredibly valuable Rotary member, mentor to me. I don't know who my mentor was really supposed to be in the first place. I can't remember if it was you or not, but we got to the point where, and it usually takes people 20, 25 years of marriage to do this, but we've got to the point where we actually finish each other's sentences, which is a bit scary really. So but it has been an absolute joy, absolutely, working with you. Now, one thing that some people may or may not know about Jo is that she loves freckles, the chocolate freckles. Now, Colin can attest to this, that the first servo I went to didn't have freckles, and it was bucketing down with rain. And I'll be honest and say I really didn't feel like going to another servo. So I hope you like Maltesers as well.
I do, thank you so much.
But to thank Jo very much for just a little snippet into her life. Have you got some more that you wanted to? Right, we'll keep going then.
You need a question soon. Yeah. So I just wanted to just give you a little bit of what the next year entails for this club, I suppose, and through what I see, I see this club going for the next year with all of you and with the board members as well. So that's just a little bit of the three passions of mine in Rotary at the moment: Nurture Kits Comedy Night, which probably won't happen this year, which is very sad. But
no, probably it will not happen this year.
It will not.
You
happen.
have been
no,
told.
I won't. Certainly won't be doing it. And of course, an honour to be the president. So this is what I've been sort of behind the scenes sort of working on coming into this year. It's something that I feel as a Rotarian that I should be doing something in the community. So I came up with this: if you can, you should. So there's so many things as a Rotarian you can do. You can fundraise, you can attend, you can advocate, you can show up, you can mentor, volunteer, donate, partner. I'll just go to the next slide. And so that's all the things that as a Rotarian, there's so many ways to contribute and engage in this club. So have a look at that, and I'll put it up each week and just, ask you all, what are you doing this week? Are you volunteering for something, or are you just saying hi to a new member that comes along, or, it can be only the small things, putting money in the bowls. which I forgot to mention. Put money in the
We have
bowls. So as a Rotarian, we're very privileged to be able to, and in our climate in particular, very privileged in our position that we can actually give back to the community. So just, reflect on what your Rotary journey has been and what could still be for the next 10, 20, 50 years.
And it's nice sometimes too, Jo, to be able to acknowledge those people that do a lot behind the scenes. There are some of us that are up front, but there's also a lot of people that are beavering away behind the scenes that we don't necessarily know about or have the chance to shine their light. So maybe we can make sure that we cover some of those this year as well.
Yeah. So this is just a list of some of the things that you can do. Just even attending a lunch is being a great Rotarian, because it's having fellowship with people. Somebody might not do much during their week and come to Rotary, and that might be their one outing. So by coming to lunch, you can engage with those people to give them a good time, and donate to a project. If you can't go to an event, still there's a project that they're raising funds for, so you could donate to that, to the CTF and to the RI Foundation as well. So there's certainly lots of ways that we can be great Rotarians.
So can I add something?
Yes.
I was doing it on my own for the last 10 years. Not going to do it anywhere else. You guys in this room, any of you don't have to do, I can see the fitness level and I'm being very grateful for everyone. I'm going to drive you up there. We're going to have a coffee at the top. I'll do that for you guys. I've been doing it for 10 years, but it's for you guys. And also I'm going back to India on my cousin's wedding, who's in Nolanga. He was his first day as a doctor in Nolanga, but he came here on Sunday. He's going back. I'm going there for his marriage, but Ankit knows Golden Temple, Amritsar. My uncle's farm where I grew up, you've seen that post, I think, is 40 km from that airport in Amritsar. Any of you, not only this year, if you want me with you, then this year, but any time in future, we'll pick you up from the airport in Amritsar. We'll take you to the Golden Temple, but then more important than that, we'll take you to the village where the farm is.
Thank you.
I don't drink, but my uncle drinks, and he will. And this is already on my LinkedIn. It is already on my Facebook. This is already on my Instagram. I just wanted to share with you guys. And I think I had the wrong audience for like 10 years. It started kicking off like. I think I had the wrong audience. I was trying to convince my friend who were not interested. But there's one guy who was a little bit interested. He said, I want to be your first guy to put $100 or $200 toward this. But this lady has beat him because he hasn't done it yet. She has already done something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I lost my dad in 2011. And I was lost. Mount Lofty has got me up. I still get lost sometimes. I don't talk. So don't hold that against me if that ever happens. And I sometimes don't go anywhere for months. And I'm sorry, I won't talk. I will not talk now.
Thank you. Did anyone? Gina has a question, please, Milos. Just in case.
For the people at the back.
What book did you write? You just skimmed over that? Like
The book that I wrote. Well, part of my time as a chef, and when I had my little son, I was lucky enough to take him to work with me every day at a childcare centre. And I saw a lot of kids that wouldn't eat at home, but they would eat at work, at the childcare centre. And I was like, why are they eating here and not at home for their mum? And I realised that so it's called Cauliflower Conspiracy. So it was all about hiding vegetables in food. So while they were trying to get them used to food, used to vegetables, I would do all these recipes where they would puree some vegetables and it would go in. So like chicken nuggets with vegetables all through it. But I was also teaching parents how to not focus on kids who don't eat well, because the more you focus on the child, the more they won't eat. You just ignore them and eventually they'll eat because they're hungry. So
it's interesting you should say that, Jo, because I used to volunteer with a great charity called Star Bear, and it was an Anglican-run charity, and we used to take kids to camp at Woodhouse, the Scout Centre, and it was amazing. I used to cook for them, and it was amazing how many parents would say to me on the get-together before camp, oh, he doesn't eat carrots. Yeah, right. He ate carrots on camp. I already went hungry. So yeah, it's interesting when you don't make a fuss. But most of our kids are different when they're not at home. Any other questions from anybody? I think you've done really well. Oh, Lisa's got one. Oh, down the back. Milos is getting his steps in.
Thanks, Joe. What's your number one focus for the strategy, the strategic plan?
So we have put with a strategic plan helping young people and people with facing hardship. So we really want to make that a focus for the year. So the domestic violence walk is a great one that we want to expand on that. So do a bit more in the domestic violence thing. So shop and share in particular, we're collecting items, but we'd like to do a bit more. We want to engage some more young people to our club. So watch this space, but there might be a companion club we might start with young professionals. So Ankit and Gildy and Alfredo, not Ankit, sorry. Well, you would, of course, you'll help.
Ankit's got some great ideas he was sharing with me earlier.
Yeah, so they're going to talk to some young people, young professionals. It's hard for them to come to a meeting like this, so having something that is at a different time just to get them engaged with Rotary. So that's the sort of things that our board wants to focus on this year.
Well, given that the World Cup is on, crows or port?
Look.
Yes?
I don't follow sport really, but if I had to, it would be crows. But we've got two children who are port and one that is crows. And then they've got partners who are the opposite of them. So we are very open to port and crows in our family. Peace builder.
And I would like very quickly on that, like to ask you, the people in your family that do barrack for either the crows or port, are they the sort of supporters that won't even barrack for the other one when they're playing a Victorian team, which really gives me the irrits?
No, they're pretty good people.
Yeah. Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Joe, thank you for telling us all about yourself. Really enjoyed it. You mentioned that, which I thought was nice, the fact that some people just come to Rotary to be at the luncheon, and as we get older, that's what we do. Can you just expand a bit more how you see that in the importance of this club with our older members and going forward? Because I think it's very important.
I think the older members have got so much wisdom. So, just go and talk to them about their experiences in Rotary, because when they used to do projects back in their time where they were on the board or president, the money that they would raise was amazing. So we, struggle these days to raise funds for our little projects, but the things that they were doing in their time, it's just really inspiring. So I think if they want something more to do, mentor us. Talk to us about what we could be doing that maybe you guys did in your day. I got Rob Mottram gave me a couple of booklets today. One is how to be a polite Rotarian, I think it was, or the manners of being a Rotarian. So I'll be looking at that. So the wisdom that we're going to get from our older members is, it's amazing. We can't ever replace that. So, but fellowship is really important, and I'm so pleased that there's a lot of people here today. Invite somebody along, to see this wonderful group that we have great lunches with. So,
and also fellowship is a big part of what we do, isn't it, Joe? And a lot of the older members in the club have been there and done it. Like, they've put in such a huge amount of effort. So yes, we can draw on that experience, but also celebrate what the legacy that they've created for us. And I'd like to invite you maybe now and then to share some of the interesting tidbits out of some of those booklets that Rob's given you, like, the fines that no forward-thinking club, I don't think, has fines anymore. things that you get in trouble for being late, etc.
I have actually thought about doing one luncheon with bringing fines back just for one luncheon. So I'll be picking your brain on how to do that because, you know, I never came to one where there was fines, so I don't even know what it's all about. So maybe one of you can run that whole meeting.
So save your gold coins, folks. No silver. Save your gold coins for when we have the fines meeting. Yeah,
The $100 fines, Heidi just said.
$100 fines, far out. I'm not coming that week.
So, I'm looking forward to this year ahead, but especially with the board that I've got you, there's a pamphlet on the tables with the board and their contact details. And also, if you didn't receive a strategic plan booklet, there's some on the way out as well, or I can send it digitally as well.
Another question from left field. It was one that you had in your original list of questions, but we haven't really included it, about your greatest achievement. Now, we would always automatically go to our children, so let's take Jessie and the girls out of that. What would you say your greatest achievement has been thus far?
Seriously, I think it's today as president. I never ever saw myself standing up here in front of all of you to take on this role. And in my life, I've achieved a few little bits and pieces, but nothing as big and grand as this. So, yeah, I'd say that this is probably my biggest achievement besides my family.
Sensational. How lovely to be a part of it. Any last minute questions or anything else you want to add, Joe, that you think we might have missed? Little bits that, you can tell us about.
I don't think there's anything else. Just come and ask me if you want to know any more.
I want to tell Jo that we're going to love her more than she can ever even imagine.
Thank you very much.
We already love her that much. Well, Joe, thank you so much for that snippet. I've already given you your present. There's no bottles of wine this year. You have to wait until next week. Are you starting your new Speaker's Gifts next week, Joe?
Yes. This
yes.
is very exciting.
Yep.
Speaker's Gifts next week will be a peace poll.
Yeah.
So not a full,
not a big
really
one.
big one, just the tabletop peace poll. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Heidi, for creating all those for us.
Sensational. Thank you so much, Joe. And I think we've probably got a few minutes left for a little bit more fellowship or another cup of tea or whatever. We've got 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Right,
do you want to try and fill 3 minutes or do you want to call it quits now?
I might just close the meeting.
Okay.
Let's
Done.
see.
Oh, hang on.
Yes, but that's
Yes.
I'll close the meeting with that.
Yes.